ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Namaskar my dear friends, this is video number 29 on Ramana talks with Maharshi Ramana. Video number 29 starts with talk number 421. A resident devotee, Kunju Swami, related an observation of Sri Maharshi after the robbery in the ashram in 1923. Some disciples were asking why the robbers should be allowed to molest even sadhus, and why the sadhus would not protect themselves and their dependents from the robbers. Sri Bhagwan observed, there were rishis like Vishwamitra who could duplicate the universe if they wished. They lived during the lifetime of Ramana, who caused agony even to Sita and Rama among others. Could not Vishwamitra have destroyed Ramana by his occult powers? Though capable, he kept still. Why? The occurrences are known to the sages, but pass away without leaving an impression on their minds. Even a deluge will appear a trifle to them. They do not care for anything. 7th June 1937, talk number 422. Dr. Venkata Rao, a visitor from Guntur, asked a guru asked his disciple to do things contrary to ethical principles, but the disciple, having accepted the person as the master, desires to please the master, but his moral sense obstructs him. What should he do under the circumstances? Maharshi, no reply. Devotee, I shall make myself clear. The Guru asked his disciple to commit a theft, and the disciple did not do it. The master then said, I wanted to test you to see if you had completely surrendered yourself or retained your individuality. It is now clear what it is. Is the Guru right in ordering the disciple that way? Maharshi, still no reply. Another person observed, there are persons on whom I refuse to sit in judgment. Still, I cannot help feeling if they deserve the appellation of gurus. They appear bogus men. If they be really worth, they would not order the disciples in that way. Mercy, but the person says it is for a test. The questioner continued, should it be carried out? Maharshi, your original statement contains the answer to your question. Both the questioners jointly asked, the action is disagreeable. Can it be done? Maharshi, the question might be referred to the person himself, that is, the Guru. He is responsible for the situation. Talk number 423. A young man asked, I try to cultivate willpower but do not succeed. How should I do it? Mercy, no answer. Devotee, I came here 3 years ago and Sri Bhagwan said that willpower is necessary for strength of mind. Since then, I have been desiring to cultivate it but without success. Maharshi, no answer. Devotee, during these years I have had 4 or 5 reverses. They upset me considerably. There is always the fear of failure haunting my attempts. This results in want of faith in myself, which certainly foredooms my efforts to failure. Nothing in fact succeeds like success, and also nothing foils one's attempts like failure. Hence my question. Mercy, no answer. Devotee, is not willpower necessary for success? It should ensure success and also rule out failure. Mercy, no answer. Devotee, I try to gain willpower. After these years, I find myself only where I began. There is no progress. Mercy, no answer. Devotee, what are the means for gaining willpower? Mercy, your idea of willpower is success ensured. Willpower should be understood to be the strength of mind which makes it capable for meeting success or failure with equanimity. It is not synonymous with certain success. Why should one's attempts be always attended with success? Success develops arrogance and the man's spiritual progress is thus arrested. Failure, on the other hand, is beneficial inasmuch as it opens the eyes of the man to his limitations and prepares him to surrender himself. Self surrender is synonymous with eternal happiness. Therefore, one should try to gain the equipoise of mind under all circumstances. That is willpower again. Success and failure are the results of prarabdha and not the willpower. A man may be doing only good and noble actions and yet prove a failure. Another man may do otherwise and yet be uniformly successful. This does not mean that the willpower is present in the one and not in the other. Devotee, is it not said in the book Truth Revealed, Ulladu Narpadu, that the world is a product of the mind? Maharshi, yes. Devotee, does it not follow that the mind grown strong brings the world under control? Mercy, the mind in its external activities gives rise to the world. Such activities fritter away the strength of the mind. Its strength lies in being confined to itself with the external activities arrested. Devotee, there is an idiot who cannot count up to 10. His mind does not certainly wander as does that of a thinker. Is the former a better man than the latter? Mercy, who says that he is an idiot? Your mind in its wandering ways says so. Devotee, is willpower gained by divesting oneself of thoughts? Maharshi, rather by confining oneself to a single thought. Ultimately, this will also disappear, leaving pure consciousness behind. Concentration helps one to it. Devotee, so then it is gained by directing the mind and concentrating it. The personality has nothing to do with it. Mercy, personality is the root cause of external activities. It must sink for gaining the highest good. Talk number 424. In the course of conversation with a learned man who asked about Purusha and Prakriti, Sri Bhagwan said, Purusha and Prakriti are only the bifurcation of one supreme. They are surmised because the student has the sense of duality deep rooted. The same Gita also says that Purushottama lies beyond Purusha and Prakriti. Devotee, what are Paranadi and Susumna Nadi and the heart? Mercy, but Susumna result into the Para. Susmanatu Prelina. Heart is usually understood to be the muscular organ lying on the left of the chest. The modern psychological review speaks of a physical organ on the left and the heart center on the right. The Bible says that a fool's heart is on the left and a wise man's on the right. Yoga Vasishtha says that there are two hearts, the one is Samvit and the other the blood vessel. Devotee, what is Anhata? Maharshi, Anhata is the chakra lying behind the heart. It is not Samvit. Lalita Sahasranama has it. Anhata Chakrasthai Namo Namaha. Salutation to the core situated in Anhata and the next mantra Harit in the heart. Thus it is clear that Anhata is not the same as Harit. Talk number 425. Willpower or any other is gained by practice. Abhyasa. Devotee, is success not dependent on Guru's grace? Mercy, yes it is. Is not your practice itself due to such grace? The fruits are the result of the practice and follow it automatically. There is a stanza in Cavallia which says, O Guru, you have been always with me, watching me through several reincarnations and ordaining my course until I was liberated. The self manifests externally as Guru when occasion arises, otherwise, he is always within and doing the needful. 12th June 1937, talk number 426. Mr. Das of Allahabad University has the food which one usually takes anything to do with increase or decrease of one's spirituality. That is, does it influence spirituality for good or bad? Maharshi, yes, sattvic food in moderate quantity is helpful to spiritual development. Devotee, for a Grihi, that is a man of the world householder, what conduct in life will help him most spiritually? Mercy, dhyana or bhakti, which mean the same thing. Devotee, what is meant by taking the name of God? How to reconcile the following two ideas? The Bible says, do not take the name of God in vain. The Hindu Shastras enjoin taking the name of God all the time. Mercy, one should not use the name of God artificially and superficially without feeling. To use the name of God, one must call upon Him and surrender to Him unreservedly. After such surrender, the name of God is constantly with the man. Devotee, what are the fundamental tests for discovering men of great spirituality, since some are reported to behave like insane people? Mercy, the Jnani's mind is known only to the Jnani. One must be a Jnani oneself in order to understand another Jnani. However, the peace of mind which permeates the saint's atmosphere is the only means by which the seeker understands the greatness of the saint. His words or actions or appearance are no indication of his greatness, for they are ordinarily beyond the comprehension of common people. Devotee, has man any free will, or is everything in his life predestined and preordained? Maharshi, free will holds the field in association with individuality. As long as individuality lasts, so long there is free will. All the Shastras are based on this fact and they advise directing the free will in the right channel. Find out to whom free will or destiny matters, abide in it, then these two are transcended. That is the only purpose of discussing these questions. To whom do these questions arise? Find out and be at peace. Devotee, are intellect and emotion like the physical body growths which come with the birth of man, and do they dissolve or survive after death? Mercy, before considering what happens after death, just consider what happens in your sleep. Sleep is only the interval between two waking states. Do they survive that interval? Devotee, yes, they do. Maharshi, the same holds good for death also. They represent body consciousness and nothing more. If you are the body, they always hold on to you. If you are not the body, they do not affect you. The one who was in sleep is now in waking state just speaking. You were not the body in sleep. Are you the body now? Find it out. Then the whole problem is solved. Similarly, that which is born must die. Whose is the birth? Were you born? If you say you were, of whose birth are you speaking? It is the body which was born, and it is that which will die. How do birth and death affect the eternal self? Think and say to whom the questions arise. Then you will know. Talk number 427. Devotee, it is said that the universe consists of light and sound. Are these two constituents like the light and sound in the physical world? Can they be seen and heard with the physical organs, eye and ear? Or are they to be experienced only subjectively? Maharshi, light and sound correspond to Bindu and Nada in Tantric terminology, and to the mind and life current in the Vedantic. They are gross, subtle, and transcendental. The organs can perceive the gross aspect, the other aspects are not so perceptible. The subtle can be inferred, and the transcendental trans, transcendental is only transcendental. Devotee, Hinduism lays down reincarnation of the jiva. What happens to the jiva during the interval between the death of one body and the birth of the next one? Mercy, solve this question by referring to the state of sleep. What happens to you in sleep? Devotee, I do not know. Maharshi, yet you exist. Therefore, existence beyond knowledge and ignorance is indicated. Although ignorance was prevailing according to your present idea, yet you did not say so in sleep. You continue to exist all the same. Mere ignorance does not rule out the fact of your existence. Devotee, in the practice of meditation, are there any signs of the nature of subjective experience or otherwise which will indicate the aspirant's progress towards self realization? Maharshi, the degree of freedom from unwanted thoughts and the degree of concentration on a single thought are the measure to gauge the progress. Devotee, is it necessary to take to sannyasa for self realization? Maharshi, sannyasa is to renounce one's individuality. This is not the same as tonsure and ochre robes. A man may be a grihi, yet if he does not think he is a grihi, he is a sannyasi. On the contrary, a man may wear ochre robes and wander about, yet if he thinks he is a sannyasi, he is not that. To think of sannyasa defeats its own purpose. Sri Bhagwan remarked, people see the world. The perception implies the existence of a seer and the seen. The objects are alien to the seer. The seer is intimate, being the self. They do not, however, turn their attention to finding out the obvious seer but run about analyzing the seen. The more the mind expands, the farther it goes and renders self realization more difficult and complicated. The man must directly see the seer and realize the self. Devotee. So then it amounts to synthesizing the phenomena and finding the one reality behind. Maharshi, why do you still consider the phenomena? See who the seer is. Synthesis means engaging the mind in other pursuits. That is not the way to realization. Devotee, I want to eliminate the non self so that the self may be realized. How shall I do it? What are the characteristics of the non self? Mercy, there is one who says that the non self must be eliminated. Who is he? Devotee, I mean this man. When I travel from Calcutta to Madras, I must know Madras so that I may not alight at an intermediate station out of ignorance. There are the signboards and the timetable to guide me in my travel. But what is the guide in my search for the self? Mercy, it is all right for the journey. You know how far away you are from Madras. Can you tell me how far away you are from the self in order that you should seek it? Devotee, I do not know. Devotee, Maharshi, are you ever divorced from the self? Is it possible to be divorced? Are not all these alien to you and the self the most intimate? Where should you go to gain the self? Devotee, I am now away from the self. I must retrace my steps in order to regain it. Mercy, how far away? Who says that he is apart? Can there be two selves? Devotee, it is said that individuals are modifications of the self, just as ornaments are of gold. Maharshi, when a man speaks in terms of ornaments ignoring their substance gold, he is told that they are gold. But here the man is consciousness and speaks of himself as its modification. Do you remain apart from self that you speak of yourself as its modification? Devotee, cannot gold be imagined to say that it has become an ornament, Maharshi? Being insentient, it does not say so, but the individual is sentient and cannot function apart from consciousness. The self is pure consciousness, yet the man identifies himself with the body which is itself insentient and does not say, I am the body of its own accord. Someone else says so. The unlimited self does not. Who else is that says so? A spurious. I arises between the pure consciousness and the insentient body and imagines itself limited to the body. Seek this and it will vanish as a phantom. The phantom is the ego or the mind or the individuality. All the Shastras are based on the rise of this phantom, whose elimination is their purpose. The present state is mere illusion. Disillusionment is the goal and nothing more. Devotee, the mind is said to be a bundle of thoughts, Maharshi, because it functions on account of a single root, the I thought. मान संतुम किम मार्ग में करते नैव मानसम मार्ग आर्जवाते. It has no real existence as a separate entity. Devotee, are not thoughts projections from the mind? Mercy. In that case, the mind is taken to be synonymous with the I thought or the ego. 15th December 1937, talk number 428. Sri Bhagwan has selected 10 stanzas from the famous work of Sri Sankara, Sivananda Lahari, describing devotion bhakti. Number 1. What is bhakti? Just as the ankola fruit falling from the tree rejoins it, or a piece of iron is drawn to a magnet, so also thoughts after rising up lose themselves in their original course. This is bhakti. The original source of thoughts is the feet of the Lord Iswara. Love of his feet forms bhakti. Number 2, fruit of bhakti. The thick cloud of bhakti formed in the transcendental sky of the Lord's feet pours down a rain of bliss, ananda, and fills the lake of mind to overflowing. Only then the jiva, always transmigrating to no useful land, has his real purpose fulfilled. 3. Where to place bhakti? Devotion to gods who have themselves their origin and end can result in fruits similarly with origin and end. In order to be in bliss everlasting, our devotion must be directed to its source, namely the feet of the ever blissful Lord. Number 4, bhakti is a matter only for experience and not for words. How can logic or other polemics be of real use? Can the Ghatapata's favorite examples of the logicians, meaning the pot and the clothes, save you in a crisis? Why then waste yourself thinking of them and on discussion? Stop exercising the vocal organs and giving them pain. Think of the feet of the Lord and drink the nectar. Number 5. Immortality is the fruit of devotion. At the sight of him who in his heart has fixed the Lord's feet, death is reminded of his bygone disastrous encounter with the Markandeya and flees away. All other gods worship only Shiva, placing their crowned heads at his feet. Such involuntary worship is only natural to Shiva. Goddess liberation, his consort always remains part of him. Number 6. If only devotion to be there, the conditions of the jiva cannot affect him, however different from the bodies. The mind alone is lost in the Lord's sweet bliss overflows. Number 7. Devotion always unimpaired. Wherever or however it be, only let the mind lose itself in the supreme. It is yoga, it is bliss, or the yogi, or the bliss incarnate. 8. Karma yoga also is bhakti. To worship God with flowers and other external objects is troublesome. Only lay the single flower, the heart at the feet of Shiva and remain at peace. Not to know this simple thing and to wonder about how foolish, what misery. Number 9. This karma yoga puts an end to one's samsara. Whatever the order of life, asrama of the devotee, only once thought of Shiva relieves the devotee of his load of samsara and takes it from himself. Number 10. Devotion is jnana. The mind losing itself in Shiva's feet is devotion. Ignorance lost, knowledge liberation. So I end this video here. Please like, comment and share the video and subscribe the channel. Thanks a lot. Namaskar, my dear friends. Next video will start with talk number 429 and page 424.